I've been married to Chloe Miller for 7 years. Throughout these 7 years, her lovers have come knocking one after another, demanding that I divorce Chloe Miller. I clutched our marriage certificate, refusing to let go, while she laughed and asked why I insisted on holding on. This time, I granted her wish and agreed to the divorce. She collapsed emotionally and begged me not to leave. On the day of my 5th wedding anniversary with Chloe Miller, a young man burst into my office. I looked at the boy's youthful, sunlit face. His handsome brows and eyes were striking. He was visibly furious, fists clenched, like a knight come to demand justice for his princess. He was Chloe's latest favorite, rumored to be a sophomore art student. He's young, so you're Chloe's husband? I nodded yes. Upon hearing my answer, he grew even angrier. If she doesn't love you, why keep her trapped in this marriage? Trapped in marriage? Do you want to marry Chloe Miller yourself, and that's why you're urging me to step aside? I'd hit a nerve. His eyes darted away. Marriage never trapped Chloe Miller to begin with. He's the 12th boy to come looking for me like this. I don't know if they truly loved Chloe Miller, but they all wanted to marry Chloe Miller. Why do you think Chloe Miller would marry you if I divorced her? Slowly rising to my feet, I walked over to him, standing slightly taller, which made him shrink back a touch apprehensively. Moving closer, I got a clearer view of his face. A very handsome face, just like the one before, strikingly resembling someone. A person who had been dead for 7 years. She. The boy stammered, stealing glances at me as he replied. She said, she loves me. She said marriage is a reward for those who love each other. Get lost. He froze, seemingly caught off guard by my sudden outburst. I never expected this. After all these years, I've heard the same words countless times, yet hearing them again still makes my heart ache. Chloe Miller and I clearly, it wasn't like this before. What did you say? I told you to get out. He was frightened by the look in my eyes and didn't dare make a sound as he ran out. A few minutes later, my assistant rushed in and said the guy's finger got caught in the elevator door. It was quite serious. Take him to the hospital. We'll cover the medical expenses. The assistant looked somewhat surprised. How did I treat the 11 boys before? They left Westwood City in utter disgrace, and even their families faced my retribution. This time, how could I be so merciful? Even I was a bit surprised. Perhaps, I'm really tired. The assistant nodded and added, Madam might. Got it. He was right. Chloe showed up within the hour. She slumped lazily on the sofa, eyeing me with disinterest. Was that really necessary? I looked up at her. What? She snorted dismissively. Worth getting so worked up over? Why didn't you just finish him off? Like how you handled Sean Carter? Sean Carter. Every time Chloe uttered that name, her voice would catch. This time was no exception. Chloe and I grew up together, and our marriage had long been decided by both families' elders. Ever since I was little, I knew my future girlfriend would be Chloe Miller, and my future wife would be Chloe Miller. I was to love her as I loved myself. After her mother passed away, her father became distant toward her. During those years, it was me who stood by her, protected her, and repeatedly confronted her father. Back then, she was so fragile, always begging me tearfully not to leave her. She said I was all she had left, and wasn't she all I had too? After our family members passed away one after another, even though we never married, in my heart she was already my most treasured relative. During those years, we leaned on each other, drawing warmth from one another. Looking back, we both feel fortunate to have had each other's company during that time. I still think the same way today. Without Chloe, I truly don't know how I would have made it through that period. In the year we graduated high school, I confessed my feelings to her. After that, we naturally got together. But we ended up at universities in different cities, and I would fly over to see her almost every week. For a while after that, I could sense her coldness towards me. When I asked, she simply said she was too tired. She rarely acted this way, so I could only look within myself for reasons and strive to become better. After graduating from university, we got married with Mr. Miller presiding over the ceremony. On our wedding night, I finally learned that Chloe had fallen for another guy during university. His name is Sean Carter. They fell in love. They, indeed, fell in love. Then what am I? Didn't Chloe Miller and I also fall in love? I didn't get the chance to ask her that question before facing her overwhelming hatred. Sean Carter died in a plane crash while being sent abroad by Mr. Miller. I became the sinner who caused his death, though when he died, I didn't even know who he was. But Chloe hates me. No matter how I explained, she remained convinced that her father and I conspired to kill Sean Carter. Ethan Clark, these years must have been miserable for you, haven't they? Chloe's voice pulled me out of my memories. She stood up, walked over to my desk, and looked down at me with amusement in her eyes. She wasn't worried about that boy's injuries. He was just a tool she used to get back at me. And I was the tool to ease her guilt toward Sean Carter. If you're in so much pain, why not get a divorce? Just divorce me, and I'll. Fine, let's get divorced. Chloe's lips parted and remained slightly open for a long moment. After what felt like an eternity, she blinked her lashes and asked uncertainly, "What did you just say?" I exhaled deeply, finally forcing out those two words, divorce. Divorce? You're agreeing to divorce me? I nodded yes. She glared at me fiercely, veins bulging on her forehead. Why did you agree this time? Before I could answer her, She burst into laughter with sudden understanding. I get it now. You're trying to punish me again, aren't you? Planning to use my family's company to force me to submit, just like before? Ethan Clark, this is all you're capable of. I despise you. She wasn't wrong about what I'd done. I admit it wasn't honorable behavior. But at that moment when I saw her lying naked with another man in my bed, rage had burned away all my rationality. I went mad with vengeance. That male student was expelled from school, and his family went bankrupt. As for Chloe, I could never bring myself to do anything to hurt her. But I wasn't willing to let her off so easily, so I cut off funding to the Miller family business, making her father suffer for a few days. After that day, Chloe started talking about divorce constantly. My friends also advised me, why not get divorced? A marriage like this is just mutual torment anyway. But I've gotten used to loving Chloe, and it's a bad habit, yet I can't change it. She'll understand, as long as I gather enough evidence to prove my case. She won't misunderstand me then. We'll make up, just like before. I can't lose her, she is literally my entire past. Losing her would be like discarding half my life. She's all I have left. My body leaned back until I was fully reclined in the chair. Since I uttered those 2 words about divorce, I've felt an unprecedented lightness. Say something, will you? If you dare lay a finger on my dad, I'll hate you forever. See, she's still threatening me with hatred. We grew up together, she knows me all too well. Whenever she says she'll hate me, I cave immediately. It works every single time. The project collaboration with your family will continue. Whether we'll work together afterward depends on the company's situation. I looked into her eyes and told her firmly, this time when I say divorce, it's just between you and me. I, Ethan Clark, want to divorce you. She asked blankly, you really want to divorce me? Why now? Did some guy provoke you? Or, is there someone else? I shook my head. I'm tired. She stared at me coldly. You're tired? Do you think I'm not? I was traded to you like merchandise in exchange for benefits. Do you think my life has been easy? I nodded, yes, so it'd be better for both of us if we separate now. She stiffened her neck and glared at me stubbornly. Fine, divorce it is. You think I'm scared of you? But let me tell you this, if we split up this time, don't even think about coming back to me later. With that, she slammed the door and left. That night, surprisingly, she was home when I returned. You're back? She asked casually while watching TV, as if nothing had happened during the day. This is the married life I've always longed for, coming home to see her there. Just seeing her presence makes me feel as though nothing has changed, giving me a grounding sense of security. But now when I see this scene, it only strikes me as bizarre and unsettling. Uncle. Lily emerged from the bedroom rubbing her sleepy eyes. She's my brother's daughter. Both my brother and sister-in-law died in that car accident. Only this daughter remained, the only blood relative I have left, my true family. Why aren't you asleep yet? I bent down and picked her up. She didn't answer, and then I realized Chloe's television was too loud. The noise made it nearly impossible to hear my niece's voice. I walked over and patted Chloe on the shoulder, turned the TV down a bit. Lily has school tomorrow. She turned her head to look at me, rolled her eyes, and didn't move. This wasn't the first time she'd done this. She knew exactly how important Lily was to me, but she couldn't care less. She would vent her anger on a child, even going so far as to take Lily outside and abandon her on the street. If it weren't for Lily running to the police station, I don't know what would have happened. God damn it, I told you to turn off the TV. My roar was so loud that Lily's body trembled. I patted her shoulder to comfort her. Chloe turned stiffly, still shaken, but turned off the TV. Nanny, take Lily to a hotel. The nanny hurriedly took the child away. Lily was still gesturing to me as I left, telling me not to lose my temper. I smiled in response, as if agreeing. Half an hour later, my assistant arrived with the divorce papers. You really want to divorce me? She still thought I was joking. I could only laugh. I won't shortchange you on any of the promises made before marriage. Take a look at the agreement, and if everything's fine, just sign it. She threw the agreement to the ground. I'm asking you, are you really going to divorce me? Otherwise? Chloe bit her lip, glared at me, picked up the agreement, and signed it without even looking at it. All these years, it seemed she hadn't grown up at all. Seeing her like this, I couldn't help but worry. Don't give all this money to your father. Save some for yourself. He's remarried now and has another son. Even if you think of him, he might not. You're out of your mind. She flung the agreement at me, hitting my shoulder. You just can't stand to see me doing well, wanting me to oppose my dad. So when everyone turns against me and no one cares for me anymore, you'll be happy, won't you? I sighed. I'd said what I needed to say. Whether she'd take it in or not wasn't up to me. Chloe ran into the bedroom in her high heels, rummaging through drawers for her documents. I'll have the housekeeper come and pack my things. With that, she headed for the door. I glanced at the wall clock, it was already 12. Stay the night, it's not safe to go out now, she said, pushing me away. My boyfriend's waiting for me in bed. If I go tomorrow, I'm afraid he won't be able to wait. I was so mad I had to laugh, watching her walk away as the door slammed shut behind her. Early the next morning, Chloe's father and stepmother brought her back again. Ethan, you and Chloe have been together for so many years. Uncle knows you're a good boy. This must all be this wretched girl's fault. Mr. Miller gave Chloe a meaningful look. The latter immediately stood up and walked over to me. I'm sorry, I won't do it again. Let's live well together from now on. I was somewhat astonished. Before this, whenever Chloe caused scandals, Mr. Miller would bring her to apologize to me. But never once had her attitude been like this. What caused the sudden change in temperament today? I took a deep breath and patiently told them, there's no need for my marriage with Chloe to continue. So, no matter what happens, my decision to divorce won't change. I've always been someone who means what I say. If I weren't firm, I would have long been pushed out by those old-timers at the company. But only with Chloe would I repeatedly show tolerance, again and again, because I love her. If they think I'll tolerate her and forgive her forever, they're wrong. In this world, nothing remains unchanged, not even love. When my love for her was worn away, it marked the beginning of my tolerance ending. Mr. Miller froze. Mrs. Miller quickly interjected, Ethan, you see, Chloe truly recognizes her mistake. The two of you have come a long way over these years. It hasn't been easy. My stance remained firm. Chloe curled up on the couch and suddenly laughed. See? I told you this time it wasn't my fault. I didn't argue. Whose fault it was no longer mattered. What truly mattered was preventing the mistake from recurring. Shut your mouth, you disgrace to our Miller family. How could I have a daughter like you? Mr. Miller stood up in anger. After hurling several insults, still unsatisfied, he actually went over and slapped Chloe across the face. I wanted to stop her but was a step too late. The farce ended with Chloe running away. A month later, we completed the divorce procedures at the courthouse. Divorcing you feels so liberating, all those young hunks waving at me. She ran over and threw herself into that guy's arms. His fingers were still wrapped in gauze as he gave me a triumphant eyebrow raise. He doesn't seem to realize he's just a stand-in. After divorcing Chloe, I discovered how clingy my niece could be. She fusses every day about me taking her to school and picking her up afterwards. Why didn't you say so before? You even said other kids would laugh if your family sent you to birthday parties. She licked her ice cream and answered without thinking, Aunt Chloe told me not to bother you. As soon as the words left her mouth, she froze mid-bite and looked at me with fearful eyes. My heart ached. How could Chloe say such things to a child? I gently touched her soft little face and said, from now on, you should tell me directly whatever's on your mind. You're the most important person to me. If you're unhappy, I won't be happy either. Her sparkling eyes blinked, as if she was pondering something. After a moment, she whispered quietly, but Aunt Chloe said that you and her are family, and you'll have your own children. When that happens, I'll have to move out. My hand unconsciously clenched into a fist. I thought Chloe only hated me, but Lily also grew up under her care, and she's just a 6-year-old child. I never expected she would stoop so low as to harm even a child. When did she become like this? Before, both you and her were the most important people to your uncle. Now that we're divorced, you should call her Aunt Miller when you meet again. Only Lily is Uncle's family now. But no matter what, you'll always be Uncle's most precious treasure. No one can make you leave this house, because this is your home. Lily froze, as if pondering my words, until gradually her eyes reddened and even her nose turned pink. My heart ached as I drew the child into my embrace. She's the only flesh and blood left by my elder brother. I thought I had taken good care of her, but it turns out her maturity was actually the cautiousness of someone deeply insecure. I'm sorry, Uncle was too neglectful. From now on, Uncle will spend every day with you, okay? She lifted her little head, tears still clinging to her eyelashes, and nodded emphatically. Uncle, I have dance class today. Can you pick me up in the afternoon? I really like my new teacher, and I want you to meet her too. Okay, Uncle will definitely come. In the afternoon, I finished my work early and drove to pick up Lily myself. Just as I reached the classroom door, I heard her laughter, and unconsciously, a smile crept onto my lips. Through the glass on the door, Lily stood by the window. Following her gaze, a graceful figure was dancing elegantly. Wearing a light blue ballet skirt, she spun with such fluid grace that it reminded me of an Antonia's morpho butterfly in flight. Mysterious and ethereal, the sunlight streaming through the window casts a uniquely beautiful glow. Uncle, Lily happily waves at me when she sees me. The beautiful butterfly came to rest, transforming into a tranquil blue rose. Uncle, this is Teacher Sophia Rose, isn't she beautiful? I was momentarily stumped, telling someone they're beautiful upon first meeting. Doesn't that make me sound like a creep? Lily, don't be so rude, I said. The child, unaware of adult concerns, pouted and asked me, isn't Teacher Rose beautiful? Well, I had no choice but to answer, she is beautiful, very beautiful. Sophia smiled at me and said thank you. After exchanging a few pleasantries, I took Lily and left. I saw Sophia again on a Friday afternoon. As I was driving past her studio, I noticed her being harassed by a middle-aged man. Without a second thought, I jumped out of my car. What are you doing? When I approached, Sophia quickly moved behind me. The man was rather skinny and instinctively took a few steps back when he saw me. Are you her boyfriend? I looked down at him and said, Yes, I'm her boyfriend. If you have something to say it to me. He leered at Sophia and grinned. Looks like you've got money to spare. Your girlfriend stole from me, so you can pay me back for her. What? Sophia exclaimed anxiously, defending herself. I didn't, he's framing me. I'll call my lawyer. Let's settle this at the police station. Hearing this, the man's eyes darted around before he turned and fled. What is he to you? The moment the words left my mouth, I felt it was somewhat intrusive. Fortunately, she didn't seem to mind. He's my landlord. Back when I rented from him, he once sneaked in by opening my door in the middle of the night. After I called the police, he accused me of stealing his things and kept bothering me. So that's how it is. If you don't mind, I'll have our company's lawyer handle this matter. She looked up at me, and for some reason, I thought she looked a bit like a little rabbit at that moment. Will it be too much trouble? Not at all. Dealing with this sort of person isn't that difficult. Sophia, thank you. Let me treat you to dinner. I glanced at my watch. Not today. I promised Lily I'd have dinner with her. Then you should head back. Don't keep the child waiting. After having dinner with Lily, I told her stories to help her fall asleep. This is how I've been spending my time lately. I've noticed that Lily has become more lively than before, sometimes even acting spoiled and throwing tantrums. This is how children should be. Only after she fell asleep did I go to bed. When I woke up, I found my head heavy and my eyes somewhat swollen and painful. I recalled that while helping Sophia out of trouble yesterday, I seemed to have forgotten to wear my coat. I haven't caught a cold in a long time. Never expected it to be this severe this time. In my dazed state, I felt a gentle hand wiping my sweat, then lightly touching my forehead. All through the night, I knew someone was sitting by my bedside, just like when my mother was still here. She would keep vigil by me all night, afraid there'd be no one around if I felt unwell. When I woke up again, it was already the next morning. Medicine and water were placed by the bedside, and on the floor sat a basin of cold water with a white towel inside. As I opened the bedroom door, a delicious aroma wafted towards me. Sophia was holding a bowl, carefully feeding Lily. Before I could speak, she explained, yesterday when I saw no one came to pick up Lily, I brought her back myself. Then Lily noticed you were ill, so I took the liberty of staying. Thank you, she smiled. Come eat quickly, this is our family's ancestral recipe for chicken noodle soup. I was amused by her playful manner, but admittedly the chicken noodles were delicious. Just as I was about to speak, the door opened from outside. Chloe stood frozen in the doorway, visibly shocked. Well, aren't we cozy? Chloe rushed over in 2 steps, eyeing the dishes on the table. Lily hid behind me in fear, a move that only angered Chloe further. She glared at me mockingly. So this is why you suddenly wanted a divorce, you found yourself a new lover. Putting on the act of a victim, huh? Ethan Clark, you're utterly despicable. Sophia quickly explained, you've got it wrong. Mr. Ethan and I aren't in that kind of relationship. He was just sick, and I happened to come over to take care of him. Chloe's eyes burned with fury as she swung her purse at me. I swiftly turned to shield myself, and the bag struck my chest with a sharp, piercing pain. Fine, you shameless couple. You're protecting this slut, aren't you, Ethan Clark? Chloe Miller. I cut off her curses sharply. If you want to throw a tantrum, go back to the Miller family to do it. Have you forgotten we're already divorced? Her voice died abruptly as she whispered, divorced? Divorced. Let me take you to class first. Sophia replied, okay. After leaving the house, I finally apologized to Sophia. She had kindly taken care of me, only to receive undeserved insults. It's alright, as long as we've cleared things up, okay. When I returned, Chloe was still there unexpectedly. I reckon she probably had something to ask of me. Alright, what is it? Hearing my question, her lips trembled, and big teardrops fell one after another. Don't you know? Or are you deliberately refusing to help me? Her crying irritated me, and my voice grew impatient. What exactly is the matter? I don't have time to play games with you. She bit her lip, sniffled, and finally spoke. That bastard Kyle posted my photos online. Kyle? I thought back, the guy who came to see me that day. After the divorce, she said she injected capital into the Miller family's company, and her father promised to make her general manager. However, this move displeased the other board members, and someone bribed Kyle to leak her photos online. She had already resigned from her position as general manager, but her photos were still being widely circulated. Her father scolded her for bringing shame and even hit her, but the photos had already spread far and wide. Even if you report it to the police, those can never be completely erased. She had already been removed from her position as general manager and was now hiding at home, too afraid to even step outside. Do you know how much courage it took for me to come find you? Do you want me to help you call the police? She froze, looking at me with disbelief. What do you mean by that? I laughed. I'd like to ask what you're thinking? When your affair photos got leaked, you come to your ex-husband to clean up this mess. Seriously, what goes through your mind? She choked up for a moment before meekly replying, I couldn't find anyone else to help. I waved my hand dismissively. All I can do is help you report this to the police. Beyond that, I have no obligation to assist you. Her eyes blazed with anger. Ethan Clark, I never thought you'd be so heartless. After all these years between us, you'd actually leave me to die without lifting a finger. After all these years of affection, when has she ever shown me the slightest mercy? Fine. I brought this humiliation upon myself by coming to see you today. Just wait, even if you come begging later, I'll never look back. She grabbed her bag and stormed out. That evening after my shower, I discovered over a dozen missed calls on my phone, all from the same person, Chloe's best friend. I rushed back, her voice urgent, Ethan Clark, come quickly. Chloe's drunk and keeps calling your name. She said Chloe had drunk heavily and was now completely wasted, but persistently calling out my name. I never liked Jessica, but for Chloe's sake, I'd always endured it. After marriage, she repeatedly persuaded Chloe to leave home, even introducing boyfriends to her. I told Chloe that someone like Jessica wasn't worthy of being a friend. She didn't listen to me. When Jessica kept taking her away from home, I wanted to teach that instigator a lesson. Chloe actually slapped me across the face in front of everyone. I think it was probably from that moment onward that my heart gradually grew cold toward her. A slap in the face and her unwavering habit of always taking the opposite side left me feeling utterly hopeless. I'd never felt so defeated and powerless before. She made me feel like the worst kind of person. She's drunk, can't you just take her home? Weren't you full of bright ideas for her? Why ask me now? After a pause on the other end, the line cooed with affected sweetness, but I just don't know what to do. Then call the police, I said, hanging up the phone immediately. The bar was owned by my friend, so with him keeping an eye on Chloe, nothing bad could happen. Late that night, my friend called to say he'd already arranged for someone to take Chloe home. As for Jessica, when she heard I wasn't willing to come see Chloe, she just left with a few girlfriends. When Chloe left, she was lying unconscious on the table. Jessica came from an ordinary family and only followed Chloe to secure a position for her father in the company. Now, the Miller family's company is on the verge of collapse, and Chloe ignored my advice by giving all her money to her father. Now, her father has used that money to send her stepmother and younger brother abroad. She had become penniless herself. Jessica just called, but only to confirm whether Chloe and I would get back together, so she could decide whether to keep sucking up to Chloe in the future. Now that the outcome was clear, that sticking with Chloe held no future, she promptly dusted herself off and left. This was the sister Chloe would rather slap me than betray. Even when I told her that her best friend had sent me sexy selfies in the middle of the night, she still thought I was deliberately framing the other person. Because of Sophia's previous care for me, our relationship had grown much closer. On this day, she actually took the initiative to invite me to dinner, and afterward, we went to see a movie together. It had been years since I'd done things like this. She sat quietly, watching the screen, the faint light catching on the tip of her nose. She turned her head abruptly, startling me. Before I could dodge away, my gaze collided with hers. I was just thinking of something to say to cover up the awkwardness when she suddenly leaned in and kissed me on the cheek. Both of us instantly flushed crimson, not daring to utter a single word the entire time. When I stepped outside, it had started to snow. Let me walk you home. She glanced at me and nodded gently. I took a few deep breaths, softly held her hand, and she didn't resist. As I drove out, I spotted a familiar figure standing in the distance. It was Chloe. She recognized my car and suddenly rushed over. Probably her assistant told her I was here. The weather was so cold that her face turned red from the frost. When she saw Sophia in the passenger seat, her lips trembled without making a sound. What's the matter? She stared at us blankly, neither losing her temper nor shouting, just standing there eerily quiet, with silent tears streaming down her face. After a long pause, she said hoarsely, "Can you lend me $100? I don't have money for a taxi." I took out my wallet. Inside there was exactly 100, which I handed to her. She quickly took the money and clutched it tightly in her hand, her fingers trembling slightly, while still smiling. "Don't expect me to give it back." I replied before driving off. My car was already far down the road when I glanced back and saw her still standing there, unmoving. The next afternoon, I went to the dance studio to pick up Sophia and Lily. When I arrived, Sophia wasn't there. "Where's Teacher Rose?" Lily looked at me inquisitively. "Uncle, are you and Miss Rose together?" I pinched her little cheek. "Did Miss Rose tell you that?" She smirked slyly. "Not at all, I sensed it myself. Kids these days are so smart. So where is she then?" "Lily, she just left with—" "No, wait, she went with Aunt Miller." "What?" My heart skipped a beat. "Gone where?" She shook her head. "I don't know. Aunt Miller said she wants to treat Teacher Rose to a meal." I wanted to go, but she didn't want to take me. "Uncle, please take me next time." I was anxious at heart and casually dismissed her with, "Fine." Afterwards, I first had my assistant send Lily home. Chloe was penniless now. She could only have gone to a few restaurants where she had membership cards. Knowing her well, since she was treating Sophia to a meal, I was sure she would pick the most expensive one. I hurriedly hailed a taxi and rushed over. When I arrived, the manager indeed confirmed that Sophia was in the private room. I rushed inside and heard Chloe's domineering voice right at the doorway. "I've heard about you. Your father died a few years ago because he couldn't pay his gambling debts. Now you're seeking out Ethan Clark. You're just after his money." I was about to enter when I heard Sophia calmly ask her, "Why do you assume it's about money? Don't you think Ethan Clark has other admirable qualities?" Chloe remained silent. Sophia continued, "He's handsome and cultured, can't you see that?" Chloe, "Of course I know, he's my leftovers. If we're talking about understanding him, I definitely know him better than you do." I laughed bitterly in my anger. Chloe never could bear to lose, even if it meant hurting me in the process. Sophia sighed, "I never would have thought you'd describe your marriage that way." She continued, "First of all, I've already paid off my debts. Being with him isn't about that. Second, since I've decided to be with him, I've anticipated facing doubts and opposition like what you're throwing at me today, and I can handle all of it. If we're not right for each other, I want to discover that for myself, not have you tell me. If Ethan thinks we're incompatible, I want to hear it from him directly, not through someone else. You." I pushed the door open, interrupting Chloe's words. Sophia froze for a moment when she saw me, her ears turning red. I stood next to her. "Sophia is right. Whether this relationship is suitable or not should be decided by us, not by you, my ex-wife." Chloe's eyes darted away, unable to meet my gaze. But I'd had enough of her appearing in my lifetime and again, hurting the people I love. "Chloe Miller, for the sake of our past relationship, I'll let it go today. But if you ever interfere with my affairs again, I won't let you off." She froze momentarily, her eyes flickering with a mix of confusion, anger, and regret. "Are you saying you want to completely cut ties with me?" "Yes," she said, her neck stiff and eyes reddening. "Have you forgotten your promise to my mother by her sickbed? You swore to take care of me forever. Have you forgotten everything?" I felt weary. "Ethan Clark, you were the one who insisted on marrying me. If not for you, Sean Carter wouldn't have died, and I would have been living happily. Now you've ruined my life and want to walk away? Are you even human?" I sighed. "Let me explain one last time. Before we married, I didn't know there was another man in your life. I thought you were anticipating our wedding just like I was. I believed you shared my commitment to remain faithful in this relationship. I never imagined that while I was preparing for our wedding, you two were planning to elope together." I took a deep breath. "I did absolutely nothing to Sean Carter. I didn't even know him. This is my final explanation." She refused to believe it. Even though I had laid countless pieces of evidence before her, she stubbornly chose to wrong me. But this time, I no longer cared whether she believed me or not. It didn't matter to me if she hated me anymore. With that, I took Sophia's hand and left. Behind me, Chloe screamed, "Ethan Clark, you bastard. You ruined me. You ruined me." After that day, Chloe seemed to have truly vanished. It said she went traveling out of town, and the Miller family somehow secured another round of funding. Their company survived the crisis. But these weren't things I needed to dwell on. I visited Sophia's mother, officially confirming our relationship. A year later, Sophia and I got engaged. The engagement party wasn't extravagant, she preferred keeping things low-key. At the end of the ceremony, I saw Chloe sitting in the audience, raising her glass to me. I hadn't expected her to appear so glamorously at my engagement party. When the ceremony ended, she walked over with her glass. "After all, we grew up together. You didn't even invite me to your engagement." I said nothing. She scoffed. "Didn't expect me to return in glory, did you? Thought I'd rot in the mud forever, huh? I don't have time to think about you." Her face went pale then flushed, until the sound of Chloe broke the stalemate. I followed the voice and saw the chairman of the Harrison Group, Mr. Harrison. He strode over and familiarly placed his hand on Chloe's waist. "What are they doing?" My heart skipped a beat before I dismissed the thought. Chloe, so proud, how could she possibly allow herself to be someone's mistress? Mr. Harrison practically watched us grow up, and his wife's bad temper was infamous in our circle. The moment I convinced myself otherwise, she pressed her lips to the corner of Mr. Harrison's mouth. "It makes me sick to look at it. No wonder the Millers suddenly came into money. No wonder Chloe came here strutting around. You guys chat, I'll head off first." Mr. Harrison patted my shoulder, preparing to leave. Chloe immediately cooed, "I'll come with you. I'm so bored staying here all by myself." Mr. Harrison seemed rather embarrassed before finally admitting, "I'm going home, why would you follow me?" Chloe gave us a hurried glance, her face flushing red, and she dashed off right after Mr. Harrison left. A month later, Chloe was beaten by Mr. Harrison's wife. The assault landed someone in the hospital, and just as the Miller's business had begun to recover, it plunged into another slump. That morning, as soon as I got up, Chloe called, "Ethan, come see me, will you? I want you to visit me." I was about to refuse when Sophia said, "Go see her. She's been punished enough." "All right," I replied, and after work, I went to the hospital. I hadn't expected her injuries to be so severe. The doctor said she might be permanently disfigured. "You're here, where's Mr. Harrison?" Chloe burst into tears. "He kept promising to divorce his wife and marry me. But look at me beaten like this, and that coward didn't even dare to make a sound. Talk about divorce? What a shameless old liar." I didn't know what to say. Suddenly she grabbed my sleeve. Ethan, I'm sorry. That day I overheard my dad and stepmother talking. Sean Carter wasn't killed because of you. My father arranged for him to be sent abroad. I felt no joy from this truth coming to light. To be precise, this truth had long stopped mattering to me. Ethan, I've been thinking a lot about the past recently, about our childhood when we were always together. You'd always protect me back then. With you around, nobody dared to bully me. She sobbed uncontrollably, her tears soaking through the gauze as blood began to seep through. Why? Why have we become like this? In my mind flashed two youthful faces, leaning against each other in the sunlight as they spoke of the future. Every word they uttered was for each other. Chloe and I, we weren't like this before. I thought we would be together for a lifetime, but it's turned out like this in just a few short years. Ethan, I'm sorry. I should have listened to you. I shouldn't have trusted my father so much. He told me you were responsible for Sean Carter's death, and he lied to get my money, planning to leave the country with that woman. Ethan, she tugged at my hand. If, could we ever start over? No. Why? Because you've fallen for Sophia now? I looked at her. Even without her, we wouldn't have been possible. The damage is done and can't be undone anymore. I'm heading back first. Get some good rest. I walked out of the hospital room without a hint of reluctance. Ethan, I'm sorry. Back home, Sophia was making a cake with Lily. It was my birthday today. It had been a long time since I last celebrated my birthday. After blowing out the candles, Lily asked me what I'd wished for. Sophia reminded her, if you say it out loud, it won't come true. Lily hastily covered her mouth in fright. Uncle, please don't say it out loud. I chuckled at her reaction. Alright. Truth be told, I didn't have any particular wish, I just wanted this present happiness to extend into every day hereafter. That would be my greatest wish come true. A year later, Sophia and I got married. As we exchanged rings, I caught a glimpse of a familiar figure from the corner of my eye. But when I looked again, it was gone. Everything happened so fast it felt like an illusion. The groom may now kiss his bride. Sophia looked up at me, her cheeks flushed. I leaned down and kissed her, feeling her tears wetting my face. Will we always be this happy? She whispered to me. We will, I answered her. The end.